What if Palpatine turned Anakin, but Yoda saved Padme? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Suddenly, Yoda begins rising to his feet and hobbles over to the birthing chamber where Padme lies.
Help in the process, I shall. Guide her through birth, I can.
Master Yoda, are you certain of what you're doing? Can you truly save her?
Not certain of anything, I am. But try, I must.
Through the medical droid's protests, Yoda hops onto a seat and regards the senator with a reassuring smile. He then places his hands on either side of her head and begins to channel the Force into her. A calming presence washes over the woman as Yoda feels her doubt, sadness, and pain. Slowly, he begins to push them aside through the Force. At the same time, he whispers to her, telling her not to give up. Yet her emotions are complex. He understands the pain she's going through from losing Anakin and seeing him turn against her. There, he works to calm the senator down. He reminds her that the Jedi are one with the Force and are watching over their children. But that isn't all that's troubling her. There is something else, a darkness that seems almost artificial. It looms over her like a storm cloud, blocking Yoda's efforts to calm her. It doesn't just linger, it pulls at Padme's very essence, trying to suck it dry and strengthen her independence. This proves to be a problem, and the Grand Master now splits his attention to combat this presence as well as to help Padme. Beads of sweat trickle down his forehead, and the anguished cries of Padme fill his ears. But bit by bit, he manages to calm her down, and the darkness that surrounded her recedes. Yoda does not let it escape so easily and follows after it, allowing it to guide him towards the sender. And then, he gasps as what meets him is not the figure, but a dark shroud of the dark side that surrounds the perpetrator like a wall. While Yoda knows who it is, he hopes to gather more information and confront this threat. Slowly, he probes through the defenses, trying to push through them and peek beyond. The effort is even more taxing than helping Padme, and his presence falters. Yoda realizes he is overextending himself and tries to retreat. As he does, he catches a glimpse of something. A figure strapped to an operating table. At first, Yoda mistakes it for a droid, but there is something unmistakably human about it, and familiar. His eyes widen, and he stumbles to the ground. Obi-Wan and Senator Organa help him to his feet. He nearly blacks out, but Yoda is won. The droids report Padme's condition is stabilizing, and she will recover. It takes a few days, but Padme is deemed healthy enough to travel. With that news, they begin to formulate a plan on what to do next. One thing is clear, and that is Padme must not be allowed to return as a senator. It is too dangerous, and with her secret exposed, it leaves her vulnerable to Palpatine. Instead, she will go into hiding, and Yoda offers to protect her and the children. They agree that she will raise them, while Obi-Wan tries to gather support and search for any surviving Jedi. Bail Organa will return to the Senate and help cover up their tracks. As far as anyone knows, Padme had died during the birthing process, and the Jedi are missing. He will also provide them with any information about the Empire that he comes across. As they prepare to depart, Yoda clears his throat and looks at them.
More there is. During my healing of you, I discovered the darkness within you. Not your own darkness, mind you, but an evil presence, looking to sap the life from you, it was.
So Palpatine knows about Padme's children. That would make sense. But it also means that he would know you're still alive.
Very likely, that is. Yet ask yourself, why hunt Padme? Fueling something he was. A figure in dark armor. Evil his presence was. Yet at the same time, it felt familiar.
Anakin.
I believe so.
Then we must find him. I know there's still good in him. If we can reach out to him, then maybe we can convince—
No, Senator. It is too risky. If he is in such armor, then we must consider the possibility that the dark side has already consumed him, whether willing or not. Regardless, going after him is a great risk.
He's my husband. I can't just leave him behind. And besides, he will come after us.
No. Protect you, I will. Keep your children safe until they are ready to learn the ways of the Jedi. I will.
She glances at the Grand Master. His voice is pained and heavy, but there is still determination in him. Though he doesn't like the idea of leaving Anakin behind any more than they do, he understands the necessity. Later that day, when they depart, Padme accompanies him to Dagobah, while Obi-Wan and Bail go their separate ways, intent on carrying out the fight in whatever way they can. The small Outer Rim planet is like nothing Padme has ever seen. It is quiet and mostly a swamp, teeming with creatures and without a hint of civilization anywhere in the star system. It makes even the Gungan swamps appear childish in comparison. But that is precisely why Yoda selected this place. While it might seem empty, this planet is rich in wildlife and the living force. Here he can continue his training with Qui-Gon. For Padme, it is a difficult adjustment as she worries about her children and how they will survive. Yoda helps her in whatever way he can, mostly in finding food and building a shelter. Their lives are simple and far from easy, as they must contend with the wild beasts that call this planet home. And yet, they are also safe from the Empire. A communication device is set up to help them monitor activity around the galaxy, as they set up a secure channel for Bail and Obi-Wan. The two send regular updates on the goings-on. The former Jedi Master says he managed to rally several groups of rebels who despise the Empire and are preparing them to wage a guerrilla war. Meanwhile, Bail resists the Empire in his own ways, as he stands as the head of the opposition. He challenges many of Palpatine's plans to centralize control over the Empire around himself. It is an uphill battle, as his loyalty is suspect, but he does not back down. Padme watches all of this, longing to join them. While her heart is still broken from Anakin's betrayal, she wishes to carry on the fight, if only to stop Palpatine, and punish him for taking her husband away. Yoda senses this within his young companion, and tries to help her work through it. He teaches her some meditation techniques, gives her assurances of their mission, and reminds her of her children. While Padme does care for her twins, she also realizes that caring for them is an empty gesture. So long as the Empire is hunting them, they may never truly know peace. Though he doesn't admit it, Yoda agrees and decides to try a different method. Rather than trying to keep her indoors, he instead offers to train her. There may come a time when she must defend herself, so Yoda teaches her how. Padme has already undergone survival and self-defense training during her time as Queen of Naboo. Those skills come rushing back now, as Yoda shows her how to craft weapons, start fires, and hunt in the forest. Soon, she is the one bringing back food for them, instead of having to rely on Yoda. She hunts down larger animals and traps smaller ones, but he does not stop there. Yoda also shows her how to sense the presence of creatures. While Padme is not Force-sensitive, many of their teachings are still applicable to her. He shows her how to quiet her mind and focus, to feel the presence of other creatures through her senses. That way, even if she cannot see them, she will always be aware of them. For a while, this seems to work, as Padme seems content to hold her skills. While she is no Jedi, she can at least take comfort in the fact that she's not entirely helpless either. If it truly comes down to it, she will be able to defend herself and her children from harm. But the reports from beyond grow grimmer. While rebellions and protests continue to be organized by Bail and Obi-Wan, they are not nearly as successful as any would have hoped. Obi-Wan's rebel cells soon find themselves in the crosshairs of the Empire's new Stormtrooper Corps. Across the galaxy, they are hunted down by these men, or the Inquisitors. While they manage to fight back with some success, there is another danger in the form of a mysterious new enforcer. The figure is clad in all black armor and carries a crimson lightsaber. This being is a powerful warrior who cuts through rebels with ease. Entire cells are wiped out when he is deployed, while several surviving Jedi are personally cut down by him, including a handful of Jedi Masters. And things aren't much better on the political front. Bail continues his efforts of resistance, but the success here is faltering. In truth, the Senate does not have much actual power and remains closer to a figurehead. Each time they do manage to pass legislation to challenge the Emperor, Palpatine pressures them into cracking down harder and preventing it from happening in the future. To make matters worse, some of his allies begin to disappear. While they are said to be detained or on vacation, Bail knows better. Yet all this weighs heavily on Padme, who sees the chaos being caused by the Emperor and this mysterious man, and all the progress she's made seems to matter little, not against things like that. She spends entire nights over their communication array, listening to the updates. Each one grows grimmer as they report about the growing control the Empire is taking.
Master Yoda. That's Anakin, isn't it? That thing who's been causing trouble in the Outer Rim.
Indeed. Dangerous he has become. Surrounded by the dark side, he is. No longer young Skywalker, that is. Become something else, he has.
Then you must know that keeping me here won't keep us safe. One of these days, he will come looking for us, and I doubt we can remain hidden.
Then prepare for that day. We must. Ensure we are balanced.
All due respect, I don't think being balanced is enough in this situation, Master Yoda. You've read the reports. Not even your Jedi Masters can stop him. We have to do something. I'm asking this because I'm desperate. But is there a way that I can become a Jedi?
A bold request, that is. But lacking in Force sensitivity, you are.
Then, is there a way to fix that? Surely in all this time meditating and studying the Force, you must have uncovered something.
Not as simple as that it is. Many issues such a process can have.
So it can be done.
Yoda purses his lips and closes his eyes. Taking a deep breath, he recalls the images that have come during his meditation of things just like that. He had seen it indeed, the ability to imbue someone with the powers of the Force. He had seen it several times in the past throughout the Clone Wars, and even beyond that. He has seen it in the future. Yet, each time he has, the situation has always been the same. Some power-hungry figure using the Force to meet their own ends.
Seen it, I have. Yet the process is difficult. Rare and far from certain success is.
I have to try.
Very well. But know this. To accomplish such a feat, do it without darkness in your heart. You must. Ensure you use these powers for the right cause. You must.
Padme nods, feeling a fire igniting in her chest. The thought of at last being able to do something stirs her emotions. She stands up taller and nods towards the Jedi. And yet, it is not just justice that moves her to act. There is something else. That fire also burns from hatred toward the Empire and all it stands for. The sun dips low over Lothal's grassy horizon as Yoda's small transport descends. The ship's shadow glides over rolling fields until it reaches the jagged stone spires that mark the entrance to an ancient Jedi temple. The air is still, charged with something Padme can't name, but it makes the hairs on her arms rise. Yoda hobbles down the ramp, leaning on his gimmer stick.
Strong in the living Force, this place is. Anchored it has. To the Great Whole. A nexus it is.
This place also happens to be where one of Obi-Wan's rebel cells is operating, giving them some measure of protection. These rebels had already swept the perimeter and drove off the local Imperial forces, ensuring that they can continue with this plan, undisturbed. The wide stone doors groan open at their approach, as if recognizing the Grand Master's presence. Inside, a long corridor leads to a chamber. The floor is patterned in a circular mosaic, its center marked by a raised dais.
It feels alive.
Living and aware the Force is. Listen, you must. Let it in. Certain are you of this plan?
I am.
They kneel opposite one another at the dais. Yoda closes his eyes and raises his hands. The air begins to hum, faint at first, then louder, a vibration in Padme's bones. She follows Yoda's breathing, the rhythm slow and deep. Blue light rises from the mosaic floor, curling upwards in translucent threads. They warp around her, warm and weightless. She feels her heartbeat match the pulse of the temple.
Open your mind. Let the current flow. Resist not.
Images flash, memories of Naboo's fields, of speeches in the Senate, of Anakin smiling, of Anakin burning on Mustafar, and then of Palpatine standing atop his podium and declaring his empire, of Vader slaughtering rebels, of her helplessness. Her breath catches as she feels a stab of anger. Yoda's voice cuts through the pain.
Let go of fear. Let go of anger. Let go of hate. Or twisted by them, you will be.
She releases a shuddering breath. The light flows into her, a tide rushing into a dry shore. Suddenly, she feels the faint brush of countless lives in the galaxy, the warmth of her children's presence, the cold void beyond the temple walls. When the glow fades, she opens her eyes. The air feels sharper, the room brighter, her heartbeat stronger.
I feel like a whisper, everywhere at once.
A beginning, this is. Amplify your strength, the Nexus will. But fleeting this gift is. Train, we must, to wield it well.
Padme walks with him, feeling the renewed presence, but also that same kindling of anger burning deep in her chest. Meanwhile, in the Emperor's darkened throne room, Palpatine sits in meditation. His eyes snap open.
A ripple in the Force. Someone awakened.
A Jedi survivor.
No, this one is no mere Jedi. The presence feels new, warped, as if someone was twisted and made anew. It is intriguing.
It feels familiar.
A Jedi we do not know. Strong, yet untrained. I sense you have felt it as well.
Yes, my master. The presence. It reminds me of...
Find them, my apprentice, and bring them to me.
As you wish.
With her new abilities, Padme begins aiding Yoda and the rebels on Lothal. Although the Elder Jedi would prefer she remained hidden, and they continue their training in secret, Padme cannot bring herself to stay still while this conflict is going on. Yoda reluctantly concedes and allows her to begin their campaign. Together, they join forces with the rebels under Obi-Wan's command. They consist of a handful of guerrillas and a few seasoned soldiers. They are an adequate enough force, but with Padme's help, they turn into a force to be reckoned with. Yoda remains uncertain about this plan and tries to steer her training away from the dark side as much as possible. He opts for a less combat-oriented technique and focuses on defensive maneuvers that focus on protecting allies, healing the injured, and enhancing her stances. While they spend hours studying lightsaber combat, Yoda focuses on showing her how to use the Force to strengthen her senses. This allows her to detect her foes without seeing or sense subtle changes in the battlefield. For rebels that focus on hit-and-run attacks, these abilities are incredibly useful and turn them into near phantoms, as Padme can find weak spots and Obi-Wan organizes lightning strikes that strike at unprotected facilities, disable weapons, and free prisoners before the Imperials even know what hit them. These attacks prove highly effective, but Padme is not satisfied with them. Aside from her combat training, her years of serving as a senator also give her an innate knowledge of how the Imperial bureaucracy functions. She uses that knowledge to help her select targets and coordinate strikes. On some of these missions, she indulges in some of her darker fantasies and takes out high-ranking Imperial officers and even lesser Inquisitors in battle. Her stealth ability allows her to sneak up almost undetected to these individuals and take them out before they realize what's happening. Yet, it does not escape Yoda's attention, who looks at the senator with a disapproving eye.
Trained you as a defender, I have. Not to be some assassin, Senator.
You trained me to fight in this war and win. That is what I'm doing now. We can only win if we cut off the head from the snake.
Indeed. But not like this, Senator. Assassins, Jedi are not.
Then maybe it's time to change that. We tried to play by the rules and look where it got us. Sometimes the only way we can win is by challenging Palpatine where he stands, and forcing him to fight on our terms.
Sounding like a Sith, you are.
But Padme ignores him and continues her attacks. However, this cannot last forever, as Imperial reinforcements soon arrive. Obi-Wan intercepts this through his spies in the Imperial command. The Rebel headquarters center was alive with panic. Sirens wail through stone corridors. Comm officers shout over one another, and the holographic display of the planet's surface burns with red markers. Above the plains, a Star Destroyer's wedge-shaped silhouette hangs low in orbit. Padme stands at the edge of the holotable, watching the markers multiply. Her stomach twists, even before her mind accepts the truth. He's here.
Multiple landing zones, east and west of the city. They're going to target our hotspots and hit us directly.
Sense him, I do. Here, for you, he has come.
She glances at the busy rooms, soldiers arming themselves, pilots sprinting towards hangars, technicians sealing blast doors.
If he reaches this outpost, they'll all be slaughtered.
Risky, your thoughts are. Face him alone, you must not.
Then what? Let him kill them all? If I lead him away, they might survive. And if I can strike first, maybe I can end this.
The old master says nothing, but his silence is answer enough. She turns and walks out before he can forbid it. The journey is a blur, the hum of the speeder, the wind snapping at her cloak, the sun sinking low under the plains are washed in gold. Black stone spires jut from the grass like the bones of some ancient beast. and beyond them, the great doors of the temple rise into the sky. Inside, the air is cool and still. The hum of the Nexus is immediate, vibrating in her bones. It fills her with power, strengthens her tenuous connection to the Force. Though she has newly been connected, she feels it scratching an itch, drawing her closer. She steps onto the mosaic floor at the center of the chamber, kneels, and closes her eyes. Stillness, patience. She pulls the Force around herself like a cloak until she feels nearly invisible. And then she hardens it, donning it around herself like armor. The sound comes first as a whisper of metal boots on stone, then a hiss snap of a crimson blade igniting.
You cannot hide from me, Padme.
Her eyes open. She rises slowly, igniting the blue saber Yoda entrusted to her. The light plays across the black lenses of his mask.
You've grown stronger, far stronger than I expected, but you're still ruled by fear. There is nothing to fear.
Who says I'm afraid?
She strikes first, a hard downward cut. Their blades crash, the sound echoing through the temple. He absorbs the blow with ease, but she doesn't give him room to breathe, driving him back toward the ring of pillars. Padme draws on the immense power of the temple to guide her, unleashing a shockwave that thunders toward him. Vader leaps aside and hurls his lightsaber. She sidesteps the strike, but feels it striking her arm. Anger flashes, and she closes the distance. The Nexus surges inside her, feeding speed into her limbs, sharpening her senses. She reads the smallest shifts in his stance, the twitch before each strike. For a moment, she forces him to a knee, her blade hovering at his shoulder. Then the surge becomes a flood. Too much. The power grows wild, and she struggles to hold it back. Padme blinks back tears as it nearly overwhelms him. Vader twists and knocks her aside as he leaps back to his feet. When Padme unleashes another attack, he easily dodges it. The next few blows come flying. He moves aside from each one. It slowly becomes easier, and when she tries again, he seizes her arm and hurls her across the chamber. She hits the floor hard, the breath ripped from her lungs.
You are wasting your potential. Fight beside me, and you can bring peace, not only to the galaxy, but to our children.
For a heartbeat, the image tempts her. Luke and Leia safe, better than safe, ruling the galaxy. With that, the war would end. But the vision sours with memories of Mustafar's fires and the screams of the dying.
No, not after what you've done.
And what do you think you have done?
His blade rises for the killing blow, and a flash of green intercepts it. Yoda stands between them, locking sabers with Vader.
Your children, Senator. Think of them. Let that fuel you. Not simply this Nexus.
The words pierce her. Luke's laughter, Leia's fierce glare. They ignite something deeper. She reaches into the Nexus again. This time, not as a flood, but at a fine point. She watches as Vader and Yoda square off. The elderly master leaps and ducks past each of Vader's attacks. He moves like a lightning bolt, the Sith's lightsaber biting on the empty air as he whirls over his head and kicks him. While the armored warrior stumbles, Yoda struggles to land a follow-up strike. Padme shakes her head, drawing deep into the Force, and then unleashes her fury in a burst of energy that rips the stones from the pillars behind her. Vader turns and tries to block these strikes, but one hits him across the chest and leaves him flying back to his knees. He groans as the whole temple shakes. The temple trembles. Ancient stones grind and shift as the Force surges through her. She attacks, each strike crushing into Vader with explosive force. He staggers, retreating toward the doorway. A final blast sends him sprawling into the grass outside as the roof begins to collapse. Dust swirls in the dying light. Vader kneels as the grit pours onto him.
Quickly! Escape, we must.
He begins to hop off, sprinting towards the exit. Padme follows, preparing to join him. However, she notices Vader slumped over on some of the rubble. He struggles to stand and falters. It would be easy to leave him behind, but she only manages to move a step. Yoda had still seen the light in her. As she glances at Vader, she recalls what she had seen in him on Mustafar, before the fires scolded him. Light. The Force wraps around him, dragging him away from the falling rubble. By the time Vader regains his bearings, he is surprised to see himself outside the temple. Yoda and Padme looking over at him, wary but relaxed. Their weapons are by their sides.
You saved me.
If nothing else, you are still the father to our children, and it wouldn't be right for me to kill you. Besides, I've tasted the darkness in myself. I saw how tempting it is. I suppose it would be hypocritical of me to condemn you.
Padme, I do not wish to fight you.
And I don't want to fight you. Master Yoda, I'm sorry for what I did.
Stumbled you have, but a fall it is not. Learn and improve you can.
Then, let me help you.
As the two look at one another, they touch their foreheads, and Padme cups Vader's helmet. She feels her body shaking, and the trio leave the temple which they came from. With that, Vader decides to pledge himself to the rebels, helping Yoda teach Padme and Obi-Wan to make war with the Empire. His presence drastically alters the balance of power as he provides his years of experience and his talent for warfare. Both of these allow the rebels to gain fresh momentum in the war, launching a stunning campaign that pushes the Empire out of Lothal and then out of other critical systems. Palpatine realizes too late how big this threat is, as Vader helps them win a string of victories, and his empire is soon placed on the back foot as Bail Organa uses this to go on the offensive, slowly eroding his power away. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.